Hey, how's it going? Uh, First, before I start talking, please look at my signs. Uh, Sorry, I'm thinking in not out loud to myself with how's it going though, really? I know for some of us it could be a stressful time. Pardon me. In the United States, because it is the holiday season, the winter holidays, and of course, this is not talked about like at all. I don't see anything about it in any news broadcast of any kind. It is also Hanukkah is going to fall on Christmas Day as well. So I don't know if it's the first day or what. It's that holiday floats. So anyway, Christmas though, even though it just takes over. I mean, there is a certain level of resentment in certain adult animated series that just take some kind of like offense at the fact that Christmas kind of just takes over, and it does. I mean, there's an actor, Mandy Patinkin. He was on Criminal Minds and Homeland, the one with. Oh my God, I didn't watch it, so. Oh gosh, what is the woman's name? Well, anyway, it was like a sort of a Afghanistan wartime intelligence agency intrigue show. And oh right, the Princess Bride. He was Inigo, whatever, that recites the same thing over and over about who he is and how he's gonna avenge his father. Princess Bride. So anyway, the hell did I start talking about? Oh yeah. So the reason why I started talking about him is because I'm watching some late night show. It had to be like 4 or 5 years ago now, I think. But he was on there, and I think he's Jewish, right? I'm just telling you that because he's on this talk show. It's Christmas time, and the host asks him to sing a Christmas carol. And I'm thinking, why would he know that? And how rude, because he's Jewish. Why would he know that? Except that I have a spider bite, like right next to an artery, or a one-fanged vampire bite. Sorry, sidetracked. But I don't know. Like I thought those things, but then I realized, well, he's an entertainer. I know he can sing and dance, so. And without hesitation, he just busts out with one total, like, Christian-y song, like they mostly are Christmas carols. So, then I thought, okay, settle down. He's not bothered by it, but, I should also qualify something here. I grew up or spent like my adolescent to young adult years, like most of my friends throughout that time in school, and just also like the neighborhoods I tended to be living in. I had a lot of my friends now are still Jewish people, like they're Jewish people that I know from home. And I don't know why that's like such a big deal in the world. There's like, I'm sure you've heard that there's like people against them as a group. And that's one of those centuries old, like, I guess, prejudices against them, Anyway, yeah, it like kind of imposes on them, I think, and their culture, and just pushes everybody and everything else out of the way too. Like, that's not the only other holiday that occurs in this time, but if you are aware of that and you want to know more, you have to actually go look for it, I think. Although, ow, oh my god, ow, wow, that really hurt. I haven't had like access to broadcast television for several years now, so maybe the local stations will still do like a Kwanzaa, or a piece, a little report, a seasonal thing, and then never talk about it again. And I don't know what the tenets of that particular one, Kwanzaa, is, except I know it has what looks like a menorah, which is a Jewish thing with the 8 candles. You may know something about that from Adam Sandler's cheeky song or movie, 8 Crazy Days. But you have to have seen a menorah. They're in media and stuff. Like, if it's a movie and it's in New York at Christmas time, you're probably going to see a menorah, because it's also Hanukkah time. Okay, I'm really hung up on that. So I pulled some cards, but I didn't ask a question. I just pulled them thinking about like things that have been on my mind. And one is the Christmas thing. Like, it's huge. Here's where I was really intending to go, is that it's like an emotional time of year, because you can feel like really lonely and like isolated and left out if you're not part of festivities, if you don't have that kind of social circle. So if you want to be somewhere like that and you haven't been asked, I can tell you I have felt pretty crappy about that before. Not so much this year. I almost feel like there's too much other stuff going on to even really be worrying about it too hard. And I would just think it would be a time that it's usually, I think, kind of stressful if you have like a family and little ones and there has to be shopping involved. Well, you know what? Actually, it may well be stressful right now too, because isn't Amazon haven't Amazon workers gone on strike? Like, right now, I'm laughing because Schadenfreude against Bezos, not people that probably waited too long to get their stuff, but thankfully they have alternatives, and that actually is probably, like, if you're gonna have a sort of spirit of the guy that just shot the healthcare CEO, if you're in sort of that state of mind, and we're kind of in a little hot war in this country, not the civil war the MAGA have been asking for. This is like everybody that has been unable to have health care because it cost too much, or had to have it and avoided it until it was really bad because they knew, like, just to get there in the ambulance likely was going to cost you $5,000 or something stupid. So and unless you had a job that offered it, you didn't have many options that weren't expensive and picky. Like, we don't like you're kind of sick, so we're not going to pay for you to have treatment for it. Bye. And this is like, I wasn't surprised when that guy shot the CEO. Oh, Luigi, I'm not saying his name. I don't know why everyone thinks he's like so woo-woo. He has Danny Masterson hair and his nostrils are too big, and those eyebrows. What are you going for there, girl? They're super manscaped. I don't know, I guess he's not my cup of tea. Anyway, but what I have noticed about him, now that I totally talk shit about his appearance, that was not a good move. he's not a dumb guy, and I don't think he's crazy, actually. Boy, are we in a period of flux. Things are happening so fast and so out of the bounds of what we're used to, that actually I think we're handling it pretty well. So yeah, there's that feeling in the air of, we want our retribution, or because you like denied us service so much, we're gonna take back. I understand all of that, so I wasn't surprised. I wrote in one of my pieces that it was like the guy. Sorry, I don't know his name. I don't mean to be disrespectful, because I actually very much respect the man because of the sacrifice he made to make the statement he made. And he was I believe, fruit vendor in Tunisia, and that kicked off. He wasn't able to make enough money. I think that they were like finding him to pieces to be out trying to sell his wares, and just like a lot of rules were happening, and society was just, not society, like the government is just trying to like block every sort of access to the dude trying to get by. Like I'm sure had a family to feed, and that's why he was so desperate. And he did everything, he did like all of the things you're supposed to do, and then he like went a little nuts he wanted justification. Like, I get it, when you're, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes it's like being in a maze, and there's this entity that you need something from, and they're like, go in there, and they send you in the maze, and then while you're trying to navigate in there, and you're like sick, so you're out of it maybe, and for whatever reason, like, you don't know where you're going. It's a maze. And point is, the entity who sent you there that you need the help from, it becomes giant and is standing above the maze and just like placing little blocks, like just putting walls in front of you just randomly, like, nope, can't go there, can't go there. And so you're just blocked in and you can't go anywhere, and you're like, wait a minute, you are here for me to have a thing, and you're like not letting me even go anywhere. And it's not just the healthcare situation in this country, the private healthcare, it's them like making it damn near impossible to have anything else for people that can't afford to pay for that and still need, health care. I feel the pressure of that just more and more ramping up, and it's not a surprise, because everybody's got a gun. Somebody was gonna use it that way. I have asked this question knowing the answer, but like, why do you need a gun? Why do you need more than one? And the answer is at first protection. And I'm like, okay, but I grew up in LA, and where I am now, some areas are kind of gnarly, but where I am is nowhere near that. And thankfully, horrible things that happen in private homes are not raging here like they are starting to elsewhere. And there are several things that are happening that you may or may not see them happening, so you may not be aware of them or aware of their import, but norms in society are like falling away. Like, crime is being made to not be crime in some cases for some people. You know what that always points to, though? In the some cases of the some people, let's just say they're the ones at the top of the pyramid, generally. And they like always are like treating the public that they need to run their businesses, and then also to purchase their products, and then also to, you know, drive the buses and fly the planes and run the hospitals, and like everything that runs in society that somebody owns, that person that owns it is not at that workplace doing all of those jobs that make the unit profitable and operable. It's like those dudes or boards of dudes need the people beneath, right? And they need to like lighten up on the beneath stuff, because people go through a lot, and we have to hear a lot of like disparagement from these people, and they don't they have gradually through my lifetime given less and less of a crap if we know their true feelings, and they don't have to really say it. It's in the way that they use each other's products to help each other still make a profit when there's a loss or a shortage of some kind, or an overage, even like a over production of some item, a product, you know. And then, man, I swear these corporations like just wash each other's hands and scratch each other, pat each other's back. They have a little burp, scratch each other's backs so that they can just still be profitable. And we are seeing that also happen with Trump's corporate cabinet. I mean, these people he's picking are hardly like, don't come from government generally. Like, there's a few that have and do come from government, but that is not the majority of them. But you know, they're not qualified to be there. And to varying levels, they're Marjorie Taylor Greene to, I don't know, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Elon Musk. But, you know, they are not qualified to run the government. And even the one in there that I mentioned, and she's not the only one. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She doesn't know what she's talking about half the time. She'll start going off on something, and it'll be something that she's already signed off on, and supposedly, well, you don't know what you signed? You don't know what you took part in? She doesn't know words good. She's not the only one. I just find myself not scared, but just sort of appalled, and just like, wow, that is not good. That can't be good. And, well, I mean, historically, how would you judge the way things have been going since that particular contingent has been in the government? Things haven't been falling down, but they've sure gotten mean and evil. And gunny. Lots of guns everywhere. So, yeah, just that kind of thing. Just ambient world happening. So I pulled 3 cards from my, I know I don't have my own decks memorized. Sacred Soul Messages. And, this card, before I start talking about the card, I want you to just, like, look at the house at the top there, at the roof. What I see, and I'm sure I'm meant to see it, is a moth. And it has, like, the little moth head with maybe little antennas, and then wings, right? That are the roof, the peaked roof. So you can see that in a couple of ways. And that's also, God, don't get too sidetracked on this, kind of what is going on in the world, where what you're looking at and what's projected and you're meant to be seeing is not necessarily the truth or the real thing. Like, I just am looking at a lot of events and even organizations, people, and it's like a false facade where, like, I grew up in Hollywood, so I've seen a lot of movie sets for whatever reason, and a lot of those Western shows, like the black and white ones especially, they probably still do it the same way though. Once you're like on the other side of the wall, you go through the door on the front that says saloon, it's studio on the other side, or like nothing, or a trailer. Like, it's just the front. Like, the actual room, the inside, is filmed somewhere else, in a room somewhere else. It is more than likely not at all on the other side of the door sill when you step in that room, because there's no room there. And that's Hollywood and a lot of stuff that's happening right now. You know, what I've started to call the ruling authority will tell you only what they feel like you need to know, or that they only what they want you to know, because that's how you control people and events and things. They, however, are not the only ones that have that power. Power is not only to be found in money and influence and, you know, what control or power you have over others. That's not all there is. Thank God. So, this card, I thought, like I've said this before, but it looks like it's covered with Christmas lights. So now it's appropriate. It's Sunday, so 3 days from now it's Christmas. Woo woo! And the card reads, if light is in your heart, you will find your way home. Use your intuition to return to the past, be your own teacher. So I feel like right now we're kind of, I'm hearing people, and it sounds like they're feeling lost and they're disillusioned and frankly afraid, although that doesn't really do people any good. To that condition is just not helpful. And what I can say is, we've been here before. I know that it seems even more like an extreme situation than it did the last time Trump was president. But just, I mean, do go look at the past, because you can find there similar things going on with way worse stuff surrounding it, like violence on the streets and fire hoses and dogs and lots of people being jailed for, well, for protesting. I don't think that's ever slowed down. I think they just do, even though we have the right in the Constitution, they don't want us to do it. They being the government that sends the police down to beat on people. Like, yeah, it's a facade. Like, yeah, it says you can do that, but we don't mean it. We don't really want you to do that. We want you to just, you know, like us and like what we say. And that's another thing. It's become very important to be liked by people in the government in high positions, and it's like, that can't be your criteria in the position you have. Are you insane? You want people to like you when you're the president or the head of a major corporation that clearly disrespects the people that are not of your own social circle or financial, I don't know. You're not one of them. If you're not one of them, they don't want you around. They have no use for you except to run all of their businesses, show up to your job that you hate, where they treat you like hell and don't want to give you benefits and don't want to let you unionize. And as the people that have to like live with that, who wants that? They would like to enjoy some of the things these corporate overlords do. Like, I don't know how many of us want to be coming down on all of the other people because we can, but I think some of us would like to have the ease and convenience of their lives. And I mean, being in their wealth bracket, that particular bracket, they have more than enough for many future generations of their offspring to still be in a really good position and still actually like pay some taxes and help the homeless situation. Like seriously, like inject serious money into the government, into programs, and stop being so stingy about who gets welfare. And there already is like an obstacle course you have to go through to get it in the first place. And once you get it, I don't know what they think, it's not an Amex Black Card. It's not. They give you like just enough. People that are getting food stamps still have to go to the food bank a lot. So don't think, and the money, you're not getting a lot of money either. That's why people are on those and have multiple jobs. And so the lack of compassion for that is like, wow, man. They also, people that are in the position to create this kind of discomfort for everyone else who is breaking their back and busting their balls to make everything run, for like the people sitting up there at top going, you're smelly and you're like, whatever the disparagement is. I don't know, man. It's just like, grow up. Really? Grow up. You know, contribute. You're not going to lose that much. And they always bellyache like they're the only ones that have to pay taxes. But, you know, if you could be comparative about it, rich people, like, go, it's not hard. You could just easily go online and just enter what is the life of a poor person like in a city, and you would find so much stuff. So the not knowing, that's on you. But if you could have some compassion in your heart for a minute and see that what it would take to help these people that you are so down on for their condition, well, help the condition be better. And then you won't have these people that you have all these problems with, I hope, if you help them better their condition. And you know what? Points for you for that. That ain't bad. I don't know why the mindset with people is not that way. I mean, intellectually I do, but it's like when reality is right there, I just don't get it. Like why that continues. But I do and I don't. It's not up to me. What is up to me is making the best of it in the midst of all of that. And so the next card I pulled was this one, which is funny, kind of, because it's sort of the next thing that I was going to move into. Is we need more of this also in conjunction with what I was asking for about this. Like, you know, give the people that don't have much and they're in their little who homes and they need help. Like, look at all those windows. That would be like in a who house, a lot of rooms for all of the who children that Horton hears, them who's, you know, the salt of the earth, the working people that make the rich ones rich and successful. And it's like, you have no gratitude for that. Like, I don't get it, but I mean, I do. I keep saying I don't get it. I know a lot of reasons that would cause it to happen, but I don't get it. And this, you know, we need love. We need more of it. And I talk about it a lot. And I think I should talk about what I mean for once about saying that all the time. Because what you will not find is me running out the door to hug everyone I see and tell them I love them. But you don't have to be that demonstrative about it. Like, you can feel it in your heart. And if you are alive and healthy and, you know, relatively happy, like doing okay, like you have a roof over your head and your kids are all right and you have the enough income to get by. Like, I care about you having that. I care about other people I don't know that I will definitely not agree with, and probably in a lot of cases not even like. But I would still want them to be happy. I still want them to have what they need. I still want them to be able to give their families what they need. You know, like, I get how beneficial that is for us if we're not having to strain to have that kind of a life. And you know, we get a lot of other obstacles that happen because of the way these corporations run things. Like, they don't want regulations. That's why they're like in the government, because they couldn't get the people that were politicians that went there ostensibly to represent the people where they're from, and won't be persuaded to change their interests, you know, change their outlook to where they're not doing what they were intended to go in there and do, you know, what the people that voted for him sent him there. And, you know, when they change, it's like, well, infuriating for one, because, like, why are you helping this cause? It's awful. It makes you awful. You know, it banks a lot of bad feelings, and it is hard to still love people that are doing that to you. But at the same time, here's the part where I do know what it means comes in. Where, you know, part of life going on means that things are not necessarily gonna go smoothly in life, and currently and for a little while it's harder to find like the happy place, because the outside world is so funky and weird right now, because it's changing and it's trying to like make all of this oppressive, aggressive stuff happen when people don't want to have that happen to them on them anymore. Like, we're sick of it. Hence the Luigi situation. And finding love under those circumstances for each other is hard. So it's weird. People are feeling love for Luigi, and he's a folk hero, and people hate it, but he is. It's happened. No one can stop it now. So just, you gotta live with it. And maybe if you're in fear of more of that happening, if you feel like your safety might be in jeopardy because of something like that, maybe the thing to do is not double down on what you were doing previously. And you don't have to go to everybody's home and give them a hug and pick up their prescription. No one's asking you to do all of that. What they are asking you to do is lighten up on people and not, you know, they're already sick. You're going to take advantage of people that are already in a bad place that way. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is right with you? Because that's messed up. And more of how messed up it actually is coming out. I'll just tell my little story quickly again. United Healthcare happens to be my insurance company. As you can see, if you've been watching, I've been putting on weight. I am not happy about it. And I've tried a lot of things, and a lot of things that have worked are not working. I don't know if it's my age, because I turned 60 last year, or the food situation has gotten so bad with, remember that back scratching and handshaking between corporations I was talking to you about? I don't even eat that much processed food, and I feel like it's still bloating me up, because now I know what a lot of the stuff that's in the food does like wrong with your digestion, because it's not meant to go that way, like with corn, the high fructose corn syrup, or it's just not even really meant to be in there, or it's not meant to be in there in the quantities that it's in. And like, that kind of stuff has to stop. Like, you people have to learn how to dispose of, or repurpose the stuff that you're putting in our food. They come down on us about being obese and lethargic, and they take away exercise programs free from school, like recess and crap, or like what, I don't know what they do. Gym, do they still do gym? I don't know. But looking at all the kids, they probably should, especially if everybody's sitting around looking at phones and computers. At least take them on walks, for God's sake. It's not, I mean, if they're going to be sitting on their rear ends in school, it's like, don't make the situation that you're saying you have a problem with and then sit there and act like you have nothing to do with it. That is not love. That's way too much self-love. Not enough spreading it around. Especially when, as I was saying before, you got a lot spread around that you could spare, and you can always make more. My goodness, healthy employees will probably make your business boom. Hello. So this card, here's what it says. Your heart is an ocean. Find yourself in its hidden depths. Life journey, finding purpose, true love. So maybe true love is not all about the romance, and it's all about perpetuating the species, our species. And, every way kind of helps if it's in the positive column, because when you care enough to make people healthy, or have enough income like Bernie Sanders, that's love. And I don't know the man personally, he just wants that for me and everybody else that doesn't have it. Dude, that's love. Okay, so last card of these is this one, the little snowy mountains. And it reads, the world is a mountain that echoes your words. Reflection, seeing affects what you do matters. So, we talk about projection a lot, I've noticed, in when it comes to sort of the political discourse, or just people not agreeing with you. I'm not sure why it feels like the good time to interject this, but I was watching the documentary on Netflix about Aaron Rodgers, and look at how much trouble I'm having even talking about it. I feel ambivalent because he's kind of a prickly character, but he's an interesting one, and he appears to expound a lot of the things. Espouse, I think. He talks about a lot of stuff that sounds a lot like what I talk about, but there's also divisions amongst the spiritual community. I think it comes down to politics, but it definitely, I see, manifests in different ways. Like if you're on YouTube, you'll see a lot of content about health and metaphysics and New Age philosophies and that sort of thing. And he talks a lot of the lingo, and he clearly believes what he's saying. And I also see he's successful in manifesting, but he already knew how to do that before he knew how to do any of this stuff. Some people are just a natural at that kind of thing. He's a natural at a lot of things. But yeah, I feel like he would be hard to handle. Very opinionated. But he used the word projection, and then like TYT news channel on YouTube uses it fairly frequently, like across by network. They have different shows other than the flagship one that's TYT, and then there's other left-wing channels, and then there's also the right-wing ones have started doing it, and it's funny the way that happens though, because it always feels like to me like the right will say, the left will say something about the right, and then the right will be like, oh yeah, no, you just say it right back. But they're not wrong. Projection is not like political, I don't think. But there's also projection in the sense of like if you've ever had to do like public speaking or acting on the stage, you know that you have to project your voice. And so also, because if you're on a stage and like the audience is far away, you may not realize that up close the stage makeup they're wearing is very extreme, very like doubled and tripled down on the drama so that the people far away can see it. But when you see them up close, it's very scary. It's like a drunk elderly lady with lots of makeup on. It's really freaky looking. Okay, but anyway, so we also project what we say, like verbally, you can hear it, it resonates. Also, your actions project an image of you, and it's a time where we have to, I think, be able to know which projection is the genuine one. There may not be that. And then also you have to think about what you yourself are projecting. I mean, if you care about that kind of thing, because it's not really so much about the other people, although that does matter. Like your tone always matters, you know, especially in context. And then you just, if you're me, I don't want to like incur any kind of bad feeling if ever possible, but that's crazy because I often have an opinion that I give. And especially in a comment section, I can get snarky. I'm not perfect, but I'm aware of it, and even then I try to like, okay, well, if you really gotta say it, try to tone it down or try not to be a dick about it. And that's hard sometimes because you want to make a point and you're a little bit angry. Or sure, just angry. We'll go with that. But seeing what effects you do matters. Reflection. So looking back at yourself, and we all, I think, need to do that in order to see, like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to be treated like that, so I probably shouldn't be treating the other people like this. And I think that's something we all kind of know. Like, I would hope that when you were a child, and I don't know why it stops when you're little, but I would hope that someone said to you, like, don't treat people the way you don't want to be treated. But you know what? It sounds like a simple concept because it's like minimal on the words, but it's kind of not, especially if you're a small person. You just may not have that depth and bandwidth yet. You might, but you may not. I think that's changing. I think awareness of consciousness and situational awareness on the emotional level, I think, with some kids can be frighteningly, more and more often, just super right on to where you're all, wait, I had to wait 60 years before I was able to figure that out. And it's like they already got it locked in, but there's a reason for that. It's very much of the woo-woo metaphysical new age thing, and I'm not going to go into it, but I have mentioned it before, and it's got to do with reincarnation. Like, they've just been here before, and they just have retained more of whatever the ability from the previous life was. And in some cases, like I'm talking about now, it can be in the form of wisdom. So I pulled two from also the Gemstone Whispers deck, I just realized there's a big old red heart that's reflecting the light over the extended palms, the spread palms. There's a heart. Hi. Anyway, I got the Lapis Lazuli card. I love that particular stone. I don't have any and I need to get some. And there's a picture of it. It's on a beautiful little piece of pendant jewelry. And it reads, "Open. The only way to find true happiness is to risk being completely cut open." Well, I mean, I don't disagree. It's interesting the way it's phrased, though, because I read this as like sort of a purging thing, like a self-purging moment. But it says the only way to find true happiness is to risk being completely cut open. And that sort of implies someone else doing it, which maybe I've watched too many movies, but I don't want to get gutted by someone else. Although, what am I saying? When you have like an emotional situation, and you'll probably have to go back to your past to find one of these if you're older, but you may have had one where it was just emotionally painful, and when it was done and the smoke settled and the fire in your hair went out, you might refer to another part of the sensation as feeling that you've been gutted, and been there, done that. Don't want to do that again if possible. But I think it's kind of like, I would almost liken it to a cycle, like a human cycle. Like we build up a certain amount of experiences, and you know, whatever residue and runoff that comes from that, like having processed it, that also will build up, and you know, like a gassy corpse torso, you need to, like, you know, do something with it. And in the case of the gassy corpse torso, usually puncturing it relieves the pressure. So they, I guess, need to be gutted. I don't know, that was a weird analogy, but oh well. Okay, so wait, does that am I just talking about the card here on this? So yeah. I'm going to read that again. The only way to find true happiness is to risk being completely cut open. That is a risk that you will take for this. But it's not, I don't think, talking about romantic love. I think it's just talking about, well, I mean, yeah, obviously that would be the first choice, but we have something going on between all of us that is like unresolved, unrequited love with each other. And we have a lot of stuff that we put in front of what we really are feeling for whatever reason. Like it's embarrassing, or you don't want people to know for whatever reason this, and then another and another and another. And it's everybody that has this. It's just kind of what we do to protect ourselves. But sometimes you need to just be really honest and cut to the bone of the matters. And stuff is like so barrier filled and so false facade that we may just need to slash through some false, you know, insulation, some stuffing to get to the crux of the matter, because that's, I think, would help resolve a lot of the difficulties that the United States and the people in it and the political situation and our government, as far as it has to interact globally with the rest of the world. Like, I think we really need to get our stuff together. We've done some things that are not great, and we're not the only ones, and we're not the only ones whose country needs to be having a reflection and giving some serious thought to what the projection is, and is that what you really want to represent for your people and your country to represent going forward? And by the way, the people have all kinds of a part in it. They have they deserve to have a role in these decisions. And if you don't include us, if you continue to disinclude us the way you have, then you will end up with more blisters of Luigi's popping up. Not just here, everywhere. And I would venture to say that Europe has seen a lot more of this type of thing. They might know to react a little bit differently, a little bit more quickly to remedy the situation, because it's like, I don't know how much louder a wake-up call the insurance companies and the entities that the lobbyists and the people that just go along with it, like collect that money and go along with the carnage. It's like, it's another one of those what is wrong with you people situations. So final card is, as you can see, a diamond, and it is the great star of Africa. The subtitle there at the top is envy, and I mean, that is such a cut to the bone rich people thing, because they want what somebody else has. They want to take it from that person because they have it. They want to have the most of it. And that may seem like they have all of the stuff, but wanting all of the stuff means that you covet all of the stuff. And I think that's very close to envy, that covetousness. Envy is the religion of the mediocre. I didn't say it, the card said it. It comforts them. It smooths their worries. And finally, it rots their souls, allowing them to justify their meanness and their greed until they believe them to be virtues. Okay, I wrote a piece today and I said something very much along those lines. So I feel like this is an affirmation, and I love that. I will include the link. I wrote two, and I don't know which one I wrote that in. I think it was the one I uploaded today. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was today. So I will include that link. And I need to write myself a little note so I don't forget. Between shutting off the camera and the next 2 seconds, because it's happened. I have forgotten. I may have my mind on my mocha and my mocha on my mind, and I would like to get to that. Link today's piece. So, okay, I'm done. I didn't really know what the heck I was going to talk about. I didn't have, like I said, a particular question. But I did have a lot on my mind. I didn't even touch on everything. But thanks for listening. I'll probably be back before Christmas. But if you celebrate it, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, whatever the proper happiness thing for Kwanzaa is, that too. And all of the other ones, if you're celebrating something, I think the best thing about all of those is not whatever the doctrine is behind it. It is the getting together with the people, and even the exchanging of gifts. If someone took the time to remember you and get you a gift, that's a gift. Thank you and good night.